New York hotel is accusing the town of Colony of filing code violations against them in an attempt to prevent the hotel from housing migrants. The hotel claims they're targeting, quote, a class of people that Colony deems undesirable. The town supervisor, meanwhile, suing New York City and the city of Albany for sending 2 buses of migrants upstate to that specific hotel. Colony, New York Town Supervisor Peter Crummy joins me now. Supervisor, good morning. So talk to us about this lawsuit and how bad the migrant crisis has become in your town. In particular, really get into the lawsuit and kind of the background on this for us.
Cheryl, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And as you know, we believe here in the town of Colony that Mayor Adams has no jurisdiction to impose his programming outside of his jurisdiction in New York City. This is a long time honored principle in the state of New York about home rule. And what you're seeing here now is Mayor Adams extending his authority into jurisdictions outside of the city and then encouraging motels in upstate New York with the promise of fast money in order to have them receive these folks who are spirited into our town under the cloak of darkness without coordination, cooperation, or conversation. You tell me, Cheryl, does this sound like a fabulous plan to you?
Well, I mean, the federal government has been doing this from the border all the way throughout the country. I mean, this is the Biden administration. This is the southern border. So, multiple cities have been overrun, in particular New York, but it's a federal problem. So I guess I'm kind of wondering why you're targeting Adams and Hochul in all of this when it's really the Biden administration that I think is at fault here.
Well, Cheryl, there's no question, and I've gone on the record since day one, that immigration is decidedly a federal issue. And the federal government has allowed these folks to come into the country without a plan. And it's caused chaos and havoc throughout our country, where you have the federal government suing states, you have states suing states, and you have a mayor of New York City bullying upstate the way he has. And so it's why we need to take care of this immigration issue. It's a federal problem. They've done nothing, but at the same time, it doesn't authorize Mayor Adams, who rules and presides over a sanctuary city under court order for the last 40 years, to just extend his sanctuary status into upstate New York and into the town of Colony.
Well, I think that Mayor Adams would like that sanctuary status, whether he's on the record or not, to maybe either be changed or paused. But let's talk about Albany. So about 700 migrants have arrived to the Albany region from New York City. So that migrant crisis is projected to cost the state over $2 billion. So whether it's in Albany or it's New York City, this is a state problem. And Governor Hochul is giving about $1 billion to New York City because New York City is bearing the biggest brunt of the crisis. Your response?
Cheryl, I can tell you, though, what we're seeing here, and now that we just heard from the New York City Controller that he has rejected the no-bid contract that Mayor Adams gave to a firm to manage this dumping in upstate New York. And so that $432 million contract has now been rejected by the New York City Controller. And I can tell you, those motels that accepted that fast money and the promise of fast money by Mayor Adams and his agents, they accepted it like a crack addict would hit a bumpy. And I can tell you now, rest assured, now that that contract's been rejected, those motels will street those people soon enough after they realize they're not going to get their fast money from Mayor Adams.
Well, the hotels made a lot of money off the homeless during COVID, so of course they're going to take the money for the migrants. That's what they're doing. That's what they do. They don't really care about the neighborhoods of New York City. And I say that as somebody that lives in the city, to be clear here, sir. So Governor Hochul is considering a special legislative session. She is calling on State House Republicans to act on the migrant crisis. So, Supervisor, what are your thoughts there? Is there a way that both sides can maybe come together to fix what's happening in New York State?
Well, it's decidedly a federal issue, and that's nice that the governor has called on Congress. We have a Senate as well, and ultimately a president. The executive branch should be leading, and instead they have chosen to shut out everybody and look the other way. It's an abject failure. What happened to our time-honored process for immigration, and why is it this way now? Clearly a federal issue, and they have turned their backs on the rest of the country in this way and caused chaos, even in our court system here in the state of New York. Depending on which judge you pull, will depend on the decision you get on the same set of facts. Even our court system in the state of New York has broken ranks, and it has caused chaos here and throughout our country. And I believe that there's no legal right for the mayor to insert his programming without agreement, cooperation, collaboration. He has sought none. He now tells us the city is destroyed.
Well, it kind of is getting destroyed. It is getting destroyed. But we have to run. But I will read you this. This is the editorial board of the Wall Street Journal. New York's migrant meltdown, and they say posturing as a sanctuary city used to be easy for politicians 1,000 miles from Mexico. But lately, they're getting a taste of life along the southern border, and we certainly are. Peter.